Hi, my name is Jackie, and today I'll be doing a talk/presentation on my personal statement. First, I think it's difficult to talk about who I am and what engineering means to me without talking about my identity and events that played a large part in my life. I'll start exploring my position with just that. A large part of who I am and how I work are influenced by my immigration experience from China to Canada when I was 12. Having to completely adapt to a new culture and new language posed many challenges, and this transformed me into who I am today. When I first arrived in Canada, I feel like I was a stranger among everyone else. First, I knew very little English and knew nothing about Canadian culture. Second, I feel left out all the time because I didn't have the same friendship that I had back in China. Last but most importantly, my parents were struggling in a similar way, knowing the minimal amount of English and having a hard time of finding jobs for not having a formal education in Canada. I feel more than ever that I was alone and I was left with the responsibility to figure everything out. Eventually, things got better. I learned enough English so I can communicate with my classmates and teachers, and I was able to get more involved with everything that's happening. There was, of course, a lot of hard work that came to adapting to a completely new, different environment. But I want to focus on how this event changed some of my attributes. I developed the ability to adapt to immense amount of pressure from constantly learning new things every day. I also developed a tendency of finding new opportunities to challenge myself and keeping myself out of my comfort zone. An example of this would be the taking international baccalaureate program while I'm in high school, while also doing an 8-hour shift on a side job on the weekend. Well, I can reflect from my experience that I see myself always pushing forward of learning something new by taking on new challenges. And in doing so, I ensure my momentum of learning new things stays strong. Engineering to me is one of the challenging yet rewarding experiences. It's challenging in many aspects, such as the amount of learning required in mathematics and sciences, the process of perceiving and understanding different real-world problems, as well being able to apply what we learn in class to model and solve these complex problems. I like the metaphor that learning is like a sponge filled with water. The harder we squeeze it, the more water is going to come out. This analogy applies to myself as a student engineer to a large extent. I believe in putting everything into learning different aspects of engineering will result in great outcomes. Core values with regards to engineering design. Efficiency seems to be a factor that I strive for subconsciously whenever I'm designing something. For instance, with schoolwork, I develop a timetable for how to organize my time efficiently according to the Pomodoro timer so I can study for longer periods without feeling bored or tired. I also prefer to complete my homework right after my classes because for me, that's the fastest way while the lecture information is still retained in my head. As for engineering design, my ideal design will be the one that's most efficient with regards to functionality, assembly, and execution. I believe this attribute will be great for a team who's looking for a more efficient way to solve problems. Another DFF that have a tendency to prioritize is user-friendliness. I resonate with this DFF because I often get frustrated when something doesn't work the way they were meant to, or something is often confusing or not straightforward to use. This DFF is extremely important to me because I think many engineering designs serve a function with regards to specific opportunity, but at a higher level, engineering design aims to solve our problems. Example where this value is important can be seen with electronics, software, and products that interact with human. As part of the design team, I'll try my best to make sure the finishing product is easy to learn and easy to use. My design process. The overall framework of my design process is inspired by the FDCR model. As a student engineer, I'm still learning about engineering design and I think using the FDRCR model as a starting point provides a solid foundation. The most important elements I incorporate into my design process is the addition of the Robert Rosen model. The Robert Wilson model describes the application of math and sciences to create what we dream from how we perceive it. Adding this model to my design process puts emphasis on the importance of application of theory, mathematics, and science, an aspect which the original FT-Serre model lacks. You can also find phrases from the Robert Wilson model under frame, represent, and between frame, diverge, and between diverge and converge. After the addition of Robert Wilson model can remind myself as an engineer that we can make what we design in reality. The second addition to the FTCR model is a different branching class of ideas. These class of ideas serve as reminder for the things to check when designing, and it serves as a guidance for different aspects of a design stage. There are also other useful models and reminders attached to each cloud of ideas to add details. Last but not least, my design process is drawn to look like a rolling wheel. The metaphor behind this is to remind myself and others that iteration is a crucial process of engineering design, and no matter how many iterations there are, the design is always moving forward. To summarize on what engineering means to me, engineering is the application of theory, mathematics, and science to model and solve different real-world problems. When working in a team, I'll bring the focus on efficiency and user friendliness to the engineering design. Lastly, I think that being a student engineer is a rewarding experience. I'll put in as much of the hard work to I'll put in as much of hard work to get much out of this experience. Thank you for listening. And that's the end of my presentation.